Let me tell you something. I was 37 years old. I was going to Bible college, and I was putting up with all the harassment from Dr. Fields and everything. And I was feeling like I was old. Too old to finish, right? So I'm on business down in Florida, and I go to get on this plane, and I look next to the plane is packed. Every seat's taken, except for 2 seats right next to me. I'm on the aisle seat. I just got done. I don't want to talk to anybody. Normally I pull out my Bible, witness to people, everything. And I just didn't want to talk to anybody. I was tired. I was like Elijah underneath the juniper tree. Amen? Right. All of a sudden, here comes these 2 old people. Brother Roy Small. Never forget it, Brother Roy Small. He's about 92. And his wife. And they come in like this. And I thought, oh boy. Sure enough, he kind of looks at my seat and kind of does one of these deals. I said, you in here? Yeah, all right. I get up and I get out. They sit in, so she takes the window, he takes the middle seat. And I said, thank you, brother. God bless you. I said, I looked over him, he couldn't figure out the belt buckle, so I buckled them up. So we get to take off, and I pull out my Bible, and I'm studying in Daniel, and I got my Daniel book out and all this stuff, and he says, that's a pretty good book you got there. All right, here we go. He didn't shut up all the way to Michigan. God put him next to me. God put him next to me. I didn't want to talk. I wanted to quit.
Yeah.
This 92-year-old man sat next to me, and we got to talking, and he started telling me how he retired from General Motors, how he started working for God, and how he started building churches for missionaries all around the world. All up and down the southern hemisphere, upper hemisphere, all that stuff. And I said to him, I said, Brother Small, let me ask you this question. How long have you been married to Mrs. Small? He says, oh, about 6 years. He says, okay. He says, yeah, he says, my wife died, then her husband died. I've known her husband since we went to grade school. He says, so I went over, the Lord told me to go over, I felt the Lord told me to go over. He says, so I go over to the house, where the old folks home where she stayed. He says, I'm going to go in this room, and I'm going to ask her to marry me. If she's there, then I know, God, it's your will. If she's not there, then no. So he goes over there. She's not there. He goes to walk out. One of the ladies says, hey, Roy, she's in here. He turns around, walks up to her. He says, you don't want to spend the rest of your life with me, do you? She says, well, okay. And I looked over at her. She said, that's exactly how it happened.
That's romance right there.
So anyway, this guy retired from General Motors as an engineer. He's building churches all over the world, right? The different hemispheres. And I said, when's the last time? You're 92 years old. When's the last time you built a church? He says, well, I'm getting old now. He said, so back when I was 88, up in Cadillac. 88. I said, Brother Roy, what do you do now for the Lord? He says, I pray. She says, there's no quitting God. He says, I pray. He says, I got a prayer list. I can't do it all in one day. He says, I do half one day, and I do half the next day.
Come on now.
That's some beat. I said, would you put me on your prayer list? Yeah, I guess. Let me ask some folks. God asking where's the beef when it comes to your prayer life?
Yeah. Yeah, where's...
Is he asking that? Let me give you another one.
It's good.
How much time do I got? 10?
Oh, you got going.
Hey, let me ask you this. Now, everybody lift up your feet. I don't want you to step on your toes.
Tuck them up.
Would God say, where's the beef when it comes to your giving? Hey, you'd lose the battle maybe with the Bible study. Maybe you give up the battle and you go on the beat with the prayer life. How's it with the giving?
It's good.
There comes a time in a believer's walk with God that a believer realizes that he's truly walking with God. Not walking and in God somewhere else. I mean, walking with God. That's why Paul said, pray without ceasing. You see, because as I walk my daily walk every day, I'm to talk with God all day long. He's there with me. He's in me.
Amen.
So, hey, by the way, when you go to the place you ought not to be, He's with you.
Right.
Hey, if you're going to have a Budweiser or a Bud Light, ask God, what does He want, Bud or Bud Light? You're going to smoke that cigarette, ask God, what do you want, menthol or non-menthol? Because He's smoking it too.
Come on now.
Huh.
Did I mention God's alive?
Come on.
I believe in tithing.
Good.
I believe it's biblical. I'm talking tithing everything. I'm not talking about just money. I'm talking about your time, your talents, your tithe. Man, when I see this lady up here that's over 50 years old playing the guitar, she doesn't have any quit in her.
That's good.
There's no quit in God.
Right?
Man, we ought to tithe our time. Hey, if there's 168 hours in a week, what's a tithe? 16.8. Hey, if you go Sunday morning, Sunday night, Sunday school, Wednesday night, you only got 5.5 hours left. What are you doing with the other 11 point whatever?
Right?
Huh.
Yeah?
Come on.
You run that bus?
It's good.